Lovers. This is the Blue-Eyed Black Devil. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to give the second half of the book Marked for Revenge by Emily Klepp. Now, a couple of nights ago, I think I uploaded the first half of this book. I told you, book lovers, it's been a couple, maybe even 3 months ago, I read the first book and recapped and reviewed it, Marked for Life. And if you haven't, if it's anybody visiting the channel, go back and check that recap and review out. I like that book. I really did. This book, Marked for Revenge, was a little slower pace for me. Kind of humdrum, but I am so glad the musician in me came out because I hate to not finish what I start. So because of that, I did finish reading this book, and oh, am I glad that I did. The first is 39 chapters in this book, and I think it was like chapters, 22 through 39 where it started to pick up steam for me. But overall, it really was a good book. So grab your snacks and let's see how this one plays out. Now, at the last half of the book, when we last recapped and reviewed, who is this? One of the guys, Robin Stenbaya, he's a young man, I think he was only 19 or 20 when he was killed. After he was killed, they found out that he had a girlfriend no one knew existed. Well, Henrik and Mia tracked the girlfriend down to her mother's home, and she at first tries to say that she kept trying to dodge questions as to whether she actually had a relationship with Robin. But she eventually tells them that yes, they were in a relationship. Then she also told them that Robin seemed scared, but of what she didn't know. Okay, and now we're going to begin the last half of the book. Now, Pim, remember Pim is one of the Thailand girls who is over in Sweden. Excuse me, book lovers. She's over in Sweden. She and her friend Noi came over they were smuggling drugs into the country as a way of making quick money. Noi died because they had to swallow a large amount of pills, I think 50 pills each. Noi didn't make it. Pim was able to get away. So now she is at the hospital. She's trying to make a getaway, but she got caught 20 feet from the door. Now, I don't know if that was 20 feet from her bedroom door or 20 feet from a door leading to the outside. Henrik, one of the detectives, spoke to a receptionist about Robin. She tells Henrik that she remembers Robin saying that he wanted to talk to someone, but about what, he didn't say. She said he got a little agitated because he felt like she wasn't moving fast enough to get someone out there for him to talk to. Yana is now at the crime scene unbeknownst to Henrik and Mia. When she finally gets to her storage room, she found that all of her belongings were gone. Two men have reported being attacked by a woman. Now, just two guesses as to who that woman was. Henrik finally caught up to Axel Lundin, thinking that he was the one that killed Robin. After a while, Axel finally told him that he was actually running from Danilo. Meanwhile, Mia and Stig, now I can't say Stig's full first name, so I just shortened it to Stig. I believe that's what they referred to him as in the book as well. But Stig owns some office buildings, and he was having trouble leasing or renting them out. So he decided to use one of the office buildings as a place where he rented them rooms in the building out. He rented them out as storage rooms. So Yana has gone and rented a storage room from him. Now, remember, she is the DA, Yana Berzelius. So she used a pseudonym when she leased the storage room. She used her initials, but the name she actually leased the room in was Jenny Bankston. I remember the last name Bankston because that's my daughter's band director's last name. So Mia is at Stig's apartment and she's questioning him about his office buildings and, if there are any vagrants or loiterers that he has trouble with at any of his office buildings. So she asked him, if there had been anybody there recently to rent a storage room, and he told her yes, that a young lady had recently rented a storage room from him, and she asked who it was, and when he finally looked it up, he found it. He was like, there it is. Her name is Jenny Bankston. Now, mind you, Mia and Yana don't really see eye to eye. I believe that Mia dislikes Yana more than Yana. I think Yana is pretty much indifferent to Mia, but Mia just out and out just does not like Yana. So, I guess Yana had sense enough to realize that at some point someone may get a little suspicious, so she knew that whatever she did, she had to do it clandestinely. So when she saw the name Jenny Bankston, it didn't ring a bell to her. It was just what it was. Unbeknownst to them, though, the storage room had been, the storage room, like I just said, belonged actually to Yana. Somehow, Danilo got into Yana's storage room and cleaned it out. Mia and Stig were left scratching their heads when they went to the storage room and found it empty. Little did they know they weren't the only ones. Henrik is at the hospital questioning Pim as to... excuse me, guys. Hold on. Let me find my place again. He's at the hospital questioning Pim. At first, it seemed he wasn't going to get anywhere with that particular line of questioning until he pulled out two pictures of the possible murder suspects. One of the pics was of Danilo. Yana is beside herself when she learns this. Henrik is starting to suspect that Yana may be somehow tied into these killings, and he shares his information with Mia, who, that's all she needed to hear. But after he did that, he quickly regretted, sharing that info with Mia, because he has always known how Mia felt about Yana. Mia and Martin Stromberg. You remember Toast second Martin Stromberg? They are exchanging Christmas gifts. He was pleasantly surprised to receive a Louis Vuitton, how do you say it, Vuitton scarf from Mia. But in return, he gave her an egg cup that said, "Have an excellent day" written on it. She was furious because she had seen a high-end woman's watch that she just knew he was going to give her for Christmas, which was the only reason she continued to see him. So to me, in some ways, that's what she got. Yana is once again looking for Danilo, and so is Henrik. Now, remember in the first half, Yana, at some point, she was missing in action. It is during this time that she is looking for Danilo. Yana stealthily made her way to the isolation ward of the hospital where Pim was. She asked her for the name of the man who attacked her. At first, Pim didn't want to talk to her, but when she reached for the call button, Yana pinned her hands down and asked her again for his name. Pim said she didn't know, but the place he took her to, she described it as being a dense forest. And from those two words, dense forest, Yana decided that it had to be at her parents' summer house. And so an ice fisherman and his dad found the body of a dead woman. Yana went home and packed a bag, then headed to her parents' summer house. She looked over her shoulder just as she was getting ready to go and looked at her apartment because she got the impression that she wouldn't see it for a long time. Henrik shows up unexpectedly on Per's doorstep. He asked him how well he knew Yana. Henrik told Per about the new information that had just came out and that Yana had been described as a possible suspect. Axel has been found dead. Yana has arrived at her parents' summer home. She flashed back to a conversation she overheard her father and another man having. She learned that her father really didn't want her. Henrik and Gunnar are getting very close to finding the location of the place where Pim and the dead girl were being held captive. Per goes to Yana's parents' home to question them as to her whereabouts. Her father, Creepy Carl as I call him, was upset that he came to his home unannounced. But when he learned that Yana hadn't been seen or heard from at all that day, he decided that he needed to hear what Per had to say. Henrik is home and his pregnant wife, Emma, is prepared to do battle with him about him not being home very much. But all of a sudden she screams in excruciating pain. He managed to get her to the hospital, but on the way he saw the boathouse or the summer house. And I guess boathouse, summer house, that's where it was evidently Yana's parents' residence. Annalie has been found out by Gunnar that she had had sex with Anders Vester. Yana is at the boathouse looking for Danilo, but he wasn't there. Instead, she found Ezra, one of the missing girls. And this young lady was in bad shape. She was in one of the rooms at the house, but it's unclear. I think we are to assume that Danilo took her there, but we just don't know. So, Yana is thumbing through her father's legal binders where she learned some disturbing things about Gabriel Bortolanki. I think that's how you say it, Bortolanki or something. Remember, he was one of the ones that operated the drug smuggling ring, and I believe Danilo is the one that killed him. You know, Henrik said in the first half of the book that he believes that Gabriel was killed to silence him. Creepy Carl is trying to coax Yana out of her hiding place within the house. He realized that she used one of his motorboats to make her getaway. Annalie is trying her best to get Gunnar to hear her out. But about regarding the missing and or dead girls. But Gunnar is still pretty ticked off with her. Yana narrowly escaped her father's grasp, although he knew she had been at that boathouse. Annalie and Gunnar told everyone rather, what she had found out about Axel's death, or rather whose DNA was found during the investigation. Anders Bester played a part in Axel Lundin's death. Amelie convinced Gunnar to let her be the one to get in touch with Anders. Just as Henrik and Mia boarded the helicopter on the way to the boathouse, the hospital called and said that his wife Emma was in labor and about to give birth, so Mia was in complete control. Jana and Danilo had their final fight. At some point, he could have easily killed Jana, but he didn't. When she asked him why he didn't kill her, he said, "You don't understand, but everything I've ever did, I did for you. I did to protect you." She didn't believe him at first, but eventually she kind of came around. He begged her to help him escape the police. She said, "But no, I can't do that. You know what kind of job I have, and I can't help you." Meanwhile, Mia has made it to the boathouse where she spotted Ezra lying in a fetal position far out on the pier. She immediately calls for an ambulance, and then she covered her with her coat and performed CPR. Meanwhile, Jana fought her way through icy waters to avoid detection. Gunnar went to Anders' house to question him about why he visited Axel when he was in jail. Anders and Gunnar had a shootout, which resulted in Anders being arrested. Mia knelt down beside the dying man and asked if he could hear her. He didn't respond, although his eyes were wide open. Now, she knew they needed to bring him in alive because they felt if this was Danilo, that he could link the crimes together. So when she knelt down and felt for a pulse, she realized he just barely had one. Jana confronted her father with what she had found out the day before at their summer house. She told him that she knew he was the old man. Carl, Gabriel, Anders, and to some degree Danilo were running the drug smuggling and illegal immigration operation. She told him she knew that he deliberately influenced the outcome of over 100 court cases, resulting in innocent people serving long prison terms on false grounds. He acquitted guilty people for lack of proof. He created false police reports and seizure receipts and silenced witnesses. He replied, hold on. I wrote that twice. Okay. He replied that that's how it had to be done. he had no choice. She asked him why they adopted her. He felt he had no choice in that either. He called her a difficult child because she often ran away, and he was afraid that she knew too much. He asked her if she remembered running away a lot. She told him that actually she remembered being taken care of by social services, and that they told her that, excuse me, book lovers, they told her that she had been in a train wreck, which is why she couldn't remember her name. When it dawned on Yana that she was adopted to protect the operation, she was furious all over again. Excuse me, book lovers. Creepy Carl's response? Don't take it so hard. Oh my gosh. Carl forbade Yana from telling the police about what she had learned. Oh, here he is again with that slapping her. He slapped her, but when he tried a second time, she grabbed his hand before he could make contact. Per went to Yana's parents' home again looking for her. Just as he was about to leave, he heard 4 gunshots from within the house. The Negro is at the ER where he was thought to be dead, but after several attempts to resuscitate his heart, it finally started to beat again after approximately 13 minutes. Henrik made it to the hospital to be there with Emma as she gave birth to their 3rd child, another son. Together they watched Anders takedown and the rest play out on the evening news. Actually, when he got to the hospital, the news was on, and Emma was talking to him about what happened and stuff and how thankful she was that he didn't get hurt. And then he asked, could he hold the baby? She was like, sure you can. And he picked the baby up, and as he's holding her and they're talking about how things played out, and he gave Mia his props. He said, she would be rewarded for that, as well she should have been, because she brought everything together. I like the fact that Emma and Henrik seem to be rebonding or reestablishing their marital relationship there at the hospital. And he told her, I just love this little guy so much, and I just don't want anything to happen to any of you. And she reassured him, that everything was okay. After Per comes to Yana's rescue, she told him that her dad, hold on, hold on, please forgive me, guys. Okay, yeah. She told Per that her dad was sick and confused. She also told him that he was a danger to himself, and that he tried to, leave this world as we know it. That's how I'll say that. Which is why she had moved back in with her parents to help her mother take care of her father. And her hands were so full that she really just didn't have time for life outside of work. So they talked for a little while about that. He asked if she thought her dad would, because he didn't die. And so he asked if he thought he would make a recovery. She told him she didn't know, and that he was in a state of delirium, and that whatever medical issues we have, no matter how benign or terminal, sometimes delirium can set in, and this is the lie she told to cover her tracks with, why she shot her dad. I also I don't know that I said this a while ago, but when she confronted her father with all that went on, she asked him if her mother was aware of anything, and he did say no. She had nothing to do with any of that. She was just blind as to all that went on. Now, she did know a little. She knew that she adopted, Yana. Of course, she knew that. But I believe she had no idea to what degree how the adoption came to pass. The book ended with some playful banter back and forth between Yana and Per as they went off to lunch. Excuse me, guys. But that's how the book ended. Like I said, overall the book was good, although it took me a minute to really get into the book. I am glad I finished it. Now, the last book is called We Die Slowly, but before I read that book and recap and review that book, I am going to read a standalone. I haven't decided what that standalone will be, so one day this week I'll make that announcement. But in the meantime, guys, please get down in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this book. Either this half, the other half, or both halves as a whole. Did you like it? How you think I did? Would it be something you would recommend someone else read? What do you think about the characters? Which characters in particular do you think we will see in the third book? Myself, I know Yana will be in there. I'm thinking that Mia and Henrik and Gunnar and what's the lady's name? Amelie. I believe all of those characters will be there. And since Danilo's heart was resuscitated, I believe he will be there too. I cannot wait to read this last book to see how this is wrapped up. But I was totally surprised that the new character, Anders, ended up being one of the criminals as well. So I don't think we'll hear from him anymore. I was also surprised that we didn't hear anything else about Hans Ulan and Kirsten, his wife, Kirsten Ulan. We haven't heard anything else in this book about Lena. So, I know that every character can't be discussed from beginning to end in all three books, but it was good that there were some recurring characters besides Creepy Carl and his daughter and all of this stuff. But anyway, book lovers, I hope you have enjoyed this recap and review as much as I have enjoyed bringing it to you. In the meantime, visitors, feel free to join us. Subscribers, let's make them feel welcome. And please like, share, comment respectfully. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until we read again, book lovers, happy reading. Thank you for listening, and God bless.